A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew. So Jesus said to them, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust consume, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consume, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness?" The word of the Lord. Where I hear the gospel speaking to me in my life at this moment is to be attentive to where it counts. I can't be attentive to all things all the time. It would be too difficult to try to, in the complexity of being a human being in the world today, to think that we're ever going to get every interaction right. We're never going to have a thoughtless moment. We're never going to have a moment where we miscalculate a relationship or we misjudge a conflict, moments where we're a little unkind, moments where maybe we're a little fearful or even hateful. We're human. I certainly have those moments. And so it's helpful for me to remember that I need to be mindful of being healthy where it counts, where it matters the most, in those ways that will help me be healthy overall. And Jesus, he reminds us to be careful of where things count, where they matter most, by saying, store up your treasures in heaven. Yes. But it's interesting. He pairs that with this saying that if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. You don't need to be attentive to making sure, in this metaphor, you don't need to be attentive to making sure the whole body is healthy all the time. It's going to be too much. Look for where it counts. In this case, in this metaphor, where it counts is making sure the eye is healthy, and that will help the rest of the body be healthy. And that if you're not being attentive to that one thing where it counts the most, if your eye is unhealthy, that makes the whole body full of darkness. In that vein, I can think of certain practices I try to adhere to. I try to be a curious person. I try to approach conflicts with a sense of curiosity, to try to learn, to try to understand. I find that just being attentive to being a curious person when I'm confronted with conflict doesn't mean the conflict will always go away. Doesn't mean I'll always be able to fix it to my satisfaction. But I have found that it's a healthier approach than approaching unexpected conflict from a place of shutting down and being hostile and being angry. I have found being a curious person to be one of those small things that helps make everything in my life a little healthier. To try to approach things from a place of abundance rather than a place of scarcity. Again, it doesn't mean we won't have problems. It doesn't mean we won't have lack. We won't run out of things. But I have found that being attentive toward having an abundance mindset, that one thing helps the overall body be healthier. And that I have found that when I'm not attentive to that, and I do find myself slipping into a place of a scarcity mentality, I find that it makes everything a lot more fraught. Remembering the importance of being willing to give fellow human beings the benefit of the doubt. Again, it doesn't mean that there won't ever be conflict. It doesn't mean things won't ever go wrong. It doesn't mean I won't sometimes run afoul of somebody. But approaching life from a place of saying, being attentive to giving someone the benefit of the doubt, it does help make the whole process of being in relationships with other people, even in times of conflict, a healthier process. So that's what I'm hearing in this moment, is looking in my life, and I encourage you to look within your own life at, it's going to be too much to try to make sure that you are flawless all the time and you nail it, you get it 100% of the time. So look at what are those key points that are really important to make sure you are attentive to, that will help you be healthier overall. And whether that's a simple mental practice or a way of approaching problems, or just being mindful of where you're storing up your treasures in heaven, that attending to those things and being attentive to where it counts will help the whole body be healthy. Thanks be to God. Amen.